Khan is a Pakistani actress. Just like many other Pakistanis, she is educated but she lacks intellect. She says that she believes in equality but she does not support feminism. Whereas feminism is all about equality. Just like any typical Pakistani woman who cannot fight for her rights, who cannot stand for herself or fight with men, as she is dependent on men to have a roof over her head and to get meals twice a day. Such a woman is often busy competing with other women to prove that she is a good woman so she can bargain with patriarchy instead of fighting it. Sara Khan, through her post, is setting the perfect example of such a woman. She calls herself the OG or original feminist just to compete with other feminists and to prove them wrong. Patriarchy wins because of divide and rule. Women are purposely divided into categories of good and bad women, so they keep on blaming each other. And men can get away with things without any accountability. After all, as per your society, harassment, rape, even home breaking is a fault of a bad woman. What Sara is defining through her post is conditioning, not femininity. Femininity comes naturally to women. Whereas in your patriarchal society, girls from a very young age are taught that how they should behave, what they should be wearing, how they should be sitting, how they should be speaking softly, how they should not be asking too many questions, and how they should not be laughing loudly. My dear, this is conditioning, not grace or femininity. Since men are not judged or put into boxes by your society, so they never have to go through such conditioning. Therefore, words like grace or honor are not associated with men. And what is this term honor or grace even for? Just to kill women in the name of honor? When they do not behave in a way your patriarchal society accepts them to, which you call grace? If being submissive or obedient was natural for women, then there won't be so many holy books, religious scriptures, or scholars putting their time and effort to impose such conditions on women so they can act submissive. Sara says that women are not meant to work like machines. Well, housewives often end up working harder than professionals. In a professional setting, there are scheduled times, there are rules, regulation, and boundaries. Your boss is not allowed to mistreat you. Like in Islam, men can beat up their wives and they can even rape them. Because in Islam, if a husband wants to have intercourse, a wife can't say no. Your Muslim husband can divorce you anytime with 3 words of talaq. And you can end up becoming homeless without any retirement plan. Since the house you were living in and you were putting your efforts into never belonged to you. In fact, your husband can bring 3 more wives and innumerable sex slaves to share the same property with you, whom you spent 25 to 30 years of your life helping a man build up. Even if Muslim women stay married, still you can see when they reach their old age, they are often found competing with women of their daughter's age for their sons' attention, because now they are dependent on their sons financially, and the house where they are living now belongs to their son. At least an office job is a more secure place to be in. By giving example of Hazrat Khatija, she contradicts her previous statement. Hazrat Khatija was already a successful businesswoman before she accepted Islam or even Islam came into existence. Your Prophet Muhammad married her so she could act as sugar mommy for him. Yes, she was so powerful that your pervert Prophet Muhammad could not have any other wife while she was alive. So Islam and your Prophet Muhammad had no contribution in making her a successful businesswoman. Otherwise, Prophet Muhammad's other wife would also have been financially independent. But they were not. In fact, they had no choice but to accept polygyny and accept Muhammad as their only provider. They were even deprived of marrying again after Prophet Muhammad's death because of his insecurities related to manlyhood, because of his so-called honor. So them seeking external validation is a next level thing when they were not even allowed to have their basic human rights. Sarah again contradicts herself by saying that nurturing and building family is a woman's strength. Well, strength is something which you can control, which you can work on and can improve with time, whereas motherhood, it's a biological phenomena. I understand that in a Muslim patriarchal society, a woman's whole worth is dependent on this fact that how much value she can add to a man's life. Also, I understand that motherhood is like a token for you Muslim women to get meals twice a day and a roof over your head. So, you are compelled to think that motherhood is a strength. I want to ask you a question. What about those women who cannot conceive? You know it really well that such women are discarded by your society and easily replaced by your Muslim men with a second wife. So, why is motherhood or nurturing not a strength for them? Also, I fail to understand that how this thought crosses your mind as a Muslim woman that motherhood can be a strength when you have no authority over your bodies. Motherhood is made mandatory for you, it's not a choice for you. You can't even abort or do family planning without your husband's permission. Sarah should study about feminist movement. She won't be having her right to open bank account or even vote in elections if there were no feminists. Also, I believe she needs to study Islam and Sharia law. Her working in showbiz is clearly un-Islamic, but even she knows that for a woman, being financially independent should be prioritized for her own good. That is why, despite having a rich husband, she chose to work in a field that is clearly un-Islamic.